Hi everyone. So today is the launching of my new podcast and it's called Treasures by Treece. And so this is an idea that was basically birthed from a friend of mine. She came to me about a year and a half ago and she said something about making a podcast, and it was like the furthest thing from my mind because I'm like, oh, I'm in healthcare, I do real estate, like I've never thought about a podcast. And so the beginning, the idea was for both of us to do it together. And so ultimately that didn't happen, and so she wasn't ready to do it as a team. She wasn't comfortable in that light, and so I kind of just laid it aside. I prayed about it. I'm like, I didn't want to do that anyway, because that's not my, I'm thinking I'm a talker, I'm honest, I'm transparent, but that's not what I want to do, right? Because I like real estate. And so I prayed in January. I just kind of left it alone. And so ultimately, God, confirmed to me that this is something that I needed to do, and as part of my purpose here on earth. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. Because when you in a podcast, my particular podcast is going to be based upon my life, and when you're sharing to strangers, it's different from sharing to people like your associates, your friends and things, and your family. And so you have to give a part of yourself, a part of your life. And I'm very authentic and I'm very transparent, but in a safe space. So this is not a safe space. And so I toggle with that with the Lord, and I ultimately, of course, when he tell you to do something, you have to do it, because I have to walk in obedience to him. And I'm like, oh God. So basically here I am. And so I am grateful that I am walking in obedience, and that I did do what he asked me to do, because this basically is an introduction video today. So my podcast it's an inspirational podcast, and I will be sharing a lot about my life, my struggles, things I go through on a day-to-day, divorce, marriage, single life. No subject is off limits, and my goal is ultimately to bring in some guests as I go along. And so for now, I want to just post one a week. I do have a very busy schedule, but I also want to be able to share. My goal is to help someone, maybe say something or speak life into someone, share something, anything that can make someone's life better, or can make them possibly have a good day, because we're all struggling with something. And so with COVID being locked up, now we're starting to branch out a little bit. And so you want to be authentic. And so I will be that. And so basically, she and we were struggling, heartbreaks. And so it was birthed out of pain, sadness, heartbreak, loss, because, pain usually bring you closer to God. And that's what ultimately happened, because during COVID being locked up, you have a choice to either drift away from him or get closer. So for me, I was able to get closer to him and work on that relationship and make that relationship better. And I'm so thankful I did. And so I will be talking, like I said, sharing a lot of different topics. And so let's talk about me a little bit. So I'm from Pine Bluff, really not really, but a little town outside of Pine Bluff. But I always say Pine Bluff because people can identify with Pine Bluff. But I'm really from Altimer, Arkansas. And so I'm just going to skip over everything from that to this. So my job ultimately moves me to Dallas in 2013. I was stationed in Tyler, Texas for about 14 months. And then from there, I was promoted to the Dallas office. So I work in healthcare. So that's what moved me to Dallas. So I've been in Texas totally for 8 years now, and I really like it. And so I don't have family here. So that was a challenge at first. But I do have friends that, ultimately is my family. And so I love real estate. And of course, they would not transfer my license. So I'm finishing up with that. Got to get tested out. And so then I got this podcast. So my plate is kind of full. And I also work part-time just to get out the house because I've been working from home for about 6 years. So I'm like closed in a lot. So I work part-time to see people, to talk to people. It's just retail, just something to do. And so I enjoy that thoroughly. And so basically, I'm 45, single, divorced. So that's my story. But as I go along, I'll share more about that and how that has transitioned me, helped me, and how that has made me the woman I become today. Because I feel like everything I know that everything happened for a reason. And so I know that I didn't go through that for anything. So, and because of that divorce, I am better. And so I'll be talking a lot about that, single life in the city, but I really want you guys to tune in every week if it's possible. I'm going to be posting to Facebook. I already created the Facebook page, Treasures by Treece, so definitely go like the page, and I will have a YouTube page, Treasures by Treece. And so, like I said, I'm going to start with maybe one video a week for now until I get an audience, because my goal is to walk in obedience and to help someone and maybe say something that will make somebody's life better or their day better. Because having that relationship with the Lord and being able to hear from Him and for Him to guide me to what I'm really supposed to be doing, even though, we don't want to do what He say do most of the time, because I'm like, I don't want to do this. I talk a lot, but I don't want to talk to strangers. But, His will, not mine. And so I am so grateful that He loves me enough to want me to share a part of me with strangers. And so that's a big task. So I will be talking a lot about the Lord, because that's my number one relationship. And He's keeping me in spite of everything. And I ultimately, work in progress. I'm no holy roly. I got a potty mouth. But, He's working with me. And so I am not that person to try to act like I got it right, because I don't. I'm a sinner. I struggle every single day, every day. And so I'm not here to judge. I'm not a licensed counselor. I have a psychology degree. I refuse to go get my master's. I thought I was supposed to be a psychologist. That didn't work out either, because I didn't want to go to class. And so I'm going to be only sharing my life, my opinions, and my thoughts. I can't help anyone as far as counseling, because I don't have license to do that. But I can share some things, some takeaways from my life, how I've grown as a person and as a woman. And hopefully, in time, it will help somebody. So for now, it's Friday, and so I do have to meet my friend girl for a dinner. I wanted to just get on here, introduce myself, and say hi. Welcome to my podcast. This is the first video. I am very excited. I am going to be looking forward to sharing every week with you guys. I'm very thankful. God is just ultimately good, and He is just, wow. I'm just looking for Him to blow my mind. And so with that being said, I am definitely going to end it here. And so you guys have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Happy Mother's Day to all the beautiful mothers. And I will be chatting with you guys again next week. So for now, I hope you just enjoyed this introduction video. And you guys, once again, have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.